Congressman Blake Farenthold from Texas, who has spent his time behind a microphone, joins us on the program now. Congressman, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good to be with you.
Glad to have you here. All right, so, we invited you on wanting to talk about the latest in Fast and Furious. The Obama administration, the Justice Department, has presented the novel legal argument, actually the failed legal argument, that the judiciary is not really a place to decide disagreements between the executive branch and the legislative branch. That co-equal branch of government really has no place in determining whether or not the executive branch has a properly and legally claimed executive privilege. And they're asking that Congress's lawsuit seeking to get these documents related to Fast and Furious that the Obama administration claims should not be turned over. They say that lawsuit should simply be dismissed, Congressman.
That's absolute nonsense, but it's typical of the Obama administration. Do what we want and don't ask any questions. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it in the claim of executive privilege in Fast and Furious. We've seen it in Obama's comments, how dare the Supreme Court review the Obamacare legislation. We've seen it with him working around Congress time and time again by doing things through executive agencies rather than let it go through as law. We saw it with him enacting the DREAM Act, which his Democrat-controlled Congress couldn't even get passed before I was elected, but he's doing it now by choosing which laws to enforce and which laws not to enforce. This president doesn't think he's answerable to anybody. He said he's not answerable to Congress. He says he's not answerable to the court system, but I guarantee you he's going to be answerable to the American people on November 6th.
Talking with Congressman Blake Farenthold. And, Congressman, we heard Fast and Furious brought up during the debate tonight. Mitt Romney brought up in the question about gun control and actually brought up the executive privilege claim. And, in a debate in which Barack Obama challenged Mitt Romney on almost everything that Romney said in the 90 minutes, Barack Obama did not mention or did not say the words Fast and Furious. In fact, did not even bring up that program at all. It was pretty clear the president didn't want to go anywhere near it.
He dodged all the gun questions and pivoted to education. You can't. The entire debate was about Obama trying to say what Mitt Romney had just said isn't true, while Mitt Romney was talking about things on the record that the president has done. The president cannot defend his record, so he's got to try to stick words in Mitt Romney's mouth. And boy, when Romney brought up Fast and Furious, he ducked and ran.
Yeah, he did. And, again, I thought that was very curious, considering how much pushback we saw from the president tonight. I mean, Congressman, it was almost like the president didn't really want anybody to pay any attention to what Mitt Romney had said.
No, he tried to spin it not 5 seconds after he said it.
And it
was almost humorous.
What was amazing to me is I expected as soon as Mitt Romney brought up Fast and Furious, I thought President Obama's response would be something along the lines of, look, the DOJ Inspector General office investigated for 18 months, found no evidence of wrongdoing among senior staff. We've dealt with the situation, and as far as Mitt Romney bringing it up, look, it just goes to show what we've said all along. This was nothing more than a partisan political witch hunt. I mean, I thought that's the script that, you would have expected the administration to use. They didn't even want to go there.
That one's easy to knock down, though, because in the testimony of the Inspector General, when I was questioning him, I asked him, well, did you get any cooperation from the White House? Are there questions you still want to answer the White House? And the IG said we got little or no cooperation from the White House, and heck yes, we got a lot of questions from the White House.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Congressman, look, clearly the administration is hoping to run out the clock here. I don't think it seems to me like the argument that they're using in the courts, the courts have already addressed this argument, and they have found that, no, the courts actually can handle disputes over executive privilege, right?
Absolutely. There's a established case law, and that established case law says that executive privilege only goes to the president's decision-making process and conversations with his closest advisor. And the president is on the record on Univision as saying he was not involved anywhere in Fast and Furious. He can't have it both ways. If he was involved in it, he can claim executive privilege. If he wasn't involved with it, he can't claim executive privilege.
Well, look, that's exactly right. And this is one of the things that has bothered me. And frankly, again, the refusal for the president or by the president to even address this. I said on Twitter earlier, Congressman, every investigative journalist in North and Central America should be salivating right now. Because to me, this just indicates this administration really doesn't want to address the glaring inconsistencies with its own position. As you say, if the White House had no involvement, the White House had no knowledge, senior DOJ officials had no knowledge, they had no involvement, then on what does the executive privilege claim base, or what is it based on?
Listen, we agree 100%. I'm sorry I couldn't read your tweets. We had a debate watching party right in the heart of oil and gas country in Victoria, Texas, and we were watching the feed from C-SPAN, and the internet kept freezing up. So I had to go to a streaming audio app on my cell phone to put on the speakers. So I had to quit tweeting because we had to use my cell phone for the audio of the debate.
Wow. This is... I got to tell you, Congressman, when you were there, let me ask you, when you were at your debate party tonight and the questions about energy and specifically Barack Obama's statements that, look, I love oil. I love natural gas. I love coal. How'd that play?
Well, you know that those two words that you shouldn't be uttering on radio that got uttered, that was being uttered in Victoria, Texas.
Yeah, I can imagine so. And that's, look, it seems to me, now, obviously, I'm guessing, Congressman, you were not among a pool of undecided voters this evening?
Listen, I've got a Romney Ryan sign in my front yard, and as you walk into the campaign headquarters, there's a life-size cutout of Paul Ryan standing right by the reception desk.
So how do you think the debate went overall this evening?
I think the president, Romney ended really strong, but there's always power in having the last word. I think the president picked up a little bit in the end, but I really do think that Romney has been very successful in defining himself, and the president has tried real hard to define Romney, and both debates have undermined all the money that the Democrats have spent trying to portray Romney as something he is not. He came across as a rational guy who had very presidential. I think it was a huge win and did a great job of erasing some of the doubts in the minds of the undecided.
Well, we will see. We're 3 weeks from Election Day. And, Congressman, thank you again for coming on the program tonight. I really appreciate it, and look forward to talking again very soon.
All righty. Good talking to you.